All right. My phone tells us we're live here at Hennyfield with Bret Polington, running for City Council. And we've been doing these all week. We got a couple more yet to go. Bret, nice to see you here.
Nice to see you too.
Nice to talk to you. I think I've taken pictures of you like at the when they're lighting the candles and stuff out on North Ann Arbor Street on Christmas Eve. But I think this is the first time I've talked to you in public. Yeah. Unless I was talked to you at the real estate place down there, but I don't remember.
I imagine our paths have crossed a few times.
Yeah. Bret, let's start first before we get into any sort of politics stuff. Where are you from, and how'd you come to Saline?
So I grew up in the city of Wayne. I've spent most of my adult life in Washtenaw County, in Ypsi when I was young, when I was in college, and then in Ann Arbor for a few years, working, and then my wife and I bought a house in Willis. When it got time for our younger son to start school, we didn't want to put him in school out there. My wife grew up here.
Yeah. She's a Saline resident?
Yep.
Yeah.
She knew that the schools were great here, so we started looking to buy a house here.
How long have you been here for?
It'll be 3 years in August.
So, when you're not doing politics things, what are some of the things you'd like to do? Well, you're a realtor first. Let's get that. You're over at Cornerstone.
That's correct.
Yeah. Yep. And how's that place going, by the way? I mean, that's a great little office to have.
It's a great office. The people that work there are amazing. Jack Brown that runs the place, he's such an amazing person. I love it. It's amazing. And I'll be the first to admit I was a little apprehensive about real estate office moving into a downtown space. In fact, I even voiced my apprehension about that to a few people, but I think they've been a great asset to the community, even if I didn't work there.
Awesome. It's great. You guys do a great job with the windows. It was a shame when you guys had the beautiful window and somebody crashed into it. And
yeah.
But it's awesome to be working right at the corner like that.
Yeah.
So what are some of your hobbies that you do when you're not working, not taking care of your kids?
Yeah.
You got 2 kids, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, I have a 8-year-old son and a 16-year-old son.
Okay. So are they at Saline High School then, the 16-year-old?
Yep, Yep. He's
Cool.
at Saline High School.
So what do you do when you're not taking care of your kids and selling homes and thinking about running for office?
So I've been a musician my whole life since I was, before I can remember. And so I do that. That's really like my passion. Maybe as I've gotten older, it's become more of a hobby passion.
Yeah.
So I play in a band. I've played in numerous bands.
Are you in a band now?
Yep.
What's it called?
Candor.
And where you guys play?
We actually play we play all over the place when we play out, but we practice right here in Saline in my basement.
Yeah. So we're like, what kind of, do you play like a lot of clubs and stuff like that, or festivals?
We end up playing a lot. Just normal punk venues.
Oh, you do punk?
Yeah.
Really? You look kind of clean cut for a punk guy.
I got a lot of tattoos and everything if I didn't have long sleeves on. But
So you do guitar?
Yeah, I play guitar and sing in that band.
Okay.
So I also play drums.
Are you the lead singer? You guys all do a little bit of everything?
Yeah. I'm the lead singer. I write most of the songs, not all of them, but most of them.
3-piece or?
Actually, we're a 5-piece.
That's a lot for punk.
Yep.
Yeah. What are some of the bands you liked growing up, or still like, or stuff?
I mean, growing up, I was into a lot of the pop punk stuff. Like MXPX and Blink-182 and all that stuff.
I didn't like Blink when I was a little bit too old. I'm 55 now, right? But I always thought Blink-182 sounded like punk kids who were angry because their mom took their Nintendo away for the night.
Yeah.
But like they had they took the Green Day punk, which I thought was commercial poppy punk, and even poppied it even more.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. I maybe feel a little bit more like that now as I've gotten older. I definitely, as I got older, I got into more
crazy stuff.
No, more.
No?
I mean, I got kind of away from punk music and then kind of rediscovered it when I was in my late 20s,
really?
early 30s.
So, and you guys do punk now, eh? So,
Punk. I'll say punk.
Right.
It's like,
and
it's like dad punk.
We got to get you at one of the festivals, like Summerfest or something like that, if you haven't done it already. But
yeah. We've kicked that around a little bit for sure.
And then there's the Thursday nights. They do at least one local venue night, or local band night, or they used to. I'm not sure if they still do.
Yeah.
So I also see that you're a runner.
Yeah.
So what kind of runner would you say?
I'm the kind of runner that clearly I have. I'm a little masochistic about it, right?
Oh yeah.
I'm a distance runner. I run marathons, half marathons. The whole.
Oh man, that's crazy.
The whole gamut.
I don't understand even watching the 5K cross country races in the Saline High School. These kids finish the race, they throw everything they got into it, and then they come down and they crash like they're about to die. And I'm like, how is this fun for anybody? But they're awesome. I mean, it's great that people can do that. Saline is a great running talent.
Yeah, great running talent. Yeah. I know. I run against them every single year in the Mary Mile.
Yeah. Okay. Are you doing the cross country race for
Summerfest?
Summerfest?
I won't be in town, unfortunately.
Okay.
I wish.
All right. I always love to plug that if possible. So now you're running for office. It's a different kind of running.
It certainly is.
And how old are you again?
I'm 38.
38. It's not too young for. I mean, you're older than the mayor, I think, and he's been doing it for 500 years. It's crazy wind might be interfering a bit. So why run? What's your motivation here?
My primary motivation is because I want to see the downtown grow.
Yes.
I think that a lot of what City Council's doing is great. I think that we're on the right path. I think that having more voices in there, other different voices that have different opinions and different thoughts on things, would be great. I also
I think your generation is underrepresented on City Council.
I think that's true. I think that's true, and it's great that so many people from my generation are running this time around.
Yes.
Yeah, it's awesome. And such a diverse group too. It's awesome. But I just think that having more diverse voices would be great on the City Council for that purpose. But I also think that we just have such an amazing downtown that we should be able to figure out solutions to bring in businesses that want to stay there, unique, interesting businesses. And then I also believe that because I am among the new generation of Salinians, people that are moving here because the schools are great, they have a family, I think that maybe we have a slightly different wants and needs, and I think it's really important that there's somebody in that room that's voicing those wants and needs.
Yep. It's a great place to retire.
Yep.
But let's keep it a great place to live when you can still live as freely and youthfully as you want to, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And no offense to the retirees, I'm almost at that part myself. But I mean, definitely is different needs there. One thing they talked about a lot with Saline Main Street is family. Or at least for a while, they were getting on this family kick, which I think is a great way to turn to bring families downtown, like what they do with the trick or treat walk and stuff like that. And all the festivals downtown, they usually have good components for kids too, and you bring people down there and starts to feel like a park, I worked in Milford for a couple of years, and I don't know how well you know Milford, but they shut down Main Street for every single thing they could, and
I wish we could do that here.
I know, but we can't do it in any direction except for the one.
Yeah.
And that direction is the least advantageous direction, I think. So you're running for Saline City Council. Do you have any sort of government kind of experience? Do you serve on any committees or anything like that you think have?
I served for a couple of years on the Arts and Culture Committee here in Saline. Which was a great experience. I actually helped initiate and helped build. I don't want to take a ton of credit for it because Diana was really the mastermind behind it.
Still the driver.
Yep, but I helped build up the jazz festival. And
awesome. Did you go this year? I don't know if I saw you there. I wasn't there for very long, but it was a great event once again.
It looked absolutely incredible. I went last year, and of course I went the first year. I was unable to attend this year because I was out of town for a run.
Sure.
But yeah.
They had Alexander Zonjic, and when I was a kid growing up in Windsor, he was a Windsor legend as a flutist, but I guess he lives here now, and he's doing well for himself. He's practicing the flute in his Porsche before. Yeah. So good for him. I remember the commercials with him on, but he was a legend in Windsor for sure.
Yeah.
You know? So let's talk about a couple of issues that have come up lately.
Okay.
I don't know how familiar you are and how much you've been following some of these things, but do you have any concerns with the fire department at this point? Would you like to see the fire department kind of remain as it is, as a function of the city and three townships that work together to fund the fire department? And obviously there were some issues last year, and I think Saline City Council wasn't happy with a few directions, and they've thought about, and they've had a study that analyzed all the different ways Saline could get fire protection, including potentially just running it themselves and then maybe farming out some of the services to the townships, but it would give Saline more control of what's going on.
Yeah. So I'll be the first to admit, I don't know a ton about that situation. I know a little bit. I know that there's basically the idea is that we could switch to a millage, or we could keep pulling from the general fund. Is that the basic idea? So I think ultimately, especially as somebody who has come into the city in the last 3 years, and knowing a lot of other people who have bought homes here recently, taxes are high.
Yes.
And so I think ultimately what we need to do is we need to weigh how much more is this going to cost for our residents. And we need to make the decision that's going to be the most cost effective for taxpayers. Because I mean,
you're a realtor, you got to be hearing about this concern from time to time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, yeah, like,
how about another issue, and again, it's money. It's money versus services to the community, and how about the rec center? Losing up to $500,000 a year at this point that come out of funds that could be used for paving roads and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So I'm gonna maybe take a slightly controversial. I have a slightly controversial opinion on this, but it's not a strong opinion. It's one that's lightly informed, one that I'd be willing to change if I had more information about it.
Sure.
But my perspective on it is that if, for example, Tran, if the rec center was your business, right? And it was it was losing membership the way that it is losing membership and has lost membership since the pandemic, you would be making some different choices, right?
Yeah.
And we can't ask. I grew up in a town where the rec center was a central part of. It was a meeting place. It was a place we did everything together as a community, right? And I want that here. I have a lot of pride in having a rec center here, but I think that it's important to weigh the long-term costs of what that looks like. I'm personally not a strong believer in the idea that if we build it, they'll come. I'm a believer that we need to maybe focus creatively on programming. If you look at, I was just looking at the rec center, the schedule for the last year, for example, and you have the biggest growing sport in the world right now is pickleball.
Yes.
And you have it scheduled in the middle of the day when everybody's at work.
Right.
Or you don't have any drop-in volleyball. Two sports that people play drop-in around here, huge, and it seems like a wasted opportunity. And so I think that there are, and that's not to say, I'm sure that the people that are working at the rec center and
doing their best
they're doing the best that they can, right? And that's not, I'm not being critical of them. I'm just saying that I think that if we have to look outside of what we've currently been doing and start making some different choices on that before we start deciding to throw a ton of money at it.
So, and I generally do not like regionalization too much because local voters lose control, especially when we talk about county things. Ann Arbor and Ypsilanti will carry every vote.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, well, we're going along for the ride whether we like it or not.
Yeah.
And this regionalization idea that we have with the fire and that we have with the library, where we have these districts or intergovernmental agreements, it's still kind of Saline. It's Saline, Lodi, Saline Township, half of York Township, or whatever the school district boundary line is. So for the library, I think it's partly Pittsfield Township too. So I wonder, because right now we got 10,000 people, 10,000 residents, less than 10,000.
Yeah, I think it's a little under 9,000 right now.
Is it? Yeah, it's kind of surprising considering the growth of some of the other Washtenaw County communities. Trying to fund this rec center and trying to fund recreation in this community, which is really 30,000, 32,000 people, but we only have 10,000 people paying it. And one of the things I've been trying to get at is some sort of regionalization effort. Maybe the rec center can be saved that way, or maybe you shutter the rec center and you build a new rec center with new ideas that serves a different kind of, with a lot of these things that people want to see. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure. But what do you think of the idea of some sort of regional solution to recreation and parks?
Well, to your point that we only have, just under 9,000 people here, that actually, I think that kind of segues into something else that's really important to me, which is that I think that we need to start thinking about, I understand that people have strong opinions about keeping Saline, right? But we also have to look at our economic future, and we have to think about, okay, we need more affordable housing in Saline. I don't think that's a controversial issue, right?
Yeah.
And we need more people to work in our small businesses, and it probably wouldn't hurt to put some of that housing downtown,
right,
or close to it.
People can walk to work.
We want people walking around. We want people moving around. We want to attract people into the downtown area from outside and from inside. And so, I think that we need to build up more tax revenue, and we can do that within the city. And, maybe a regional partnership as well for the rec center is not a terrible idea. It's not something that I'm well versed on, but it's something that, it makes a lot of sense when you say it.
I want to throw one more issue at you because I got asked by some people to ask about this. But the Mill Pond Dam, there's a lot of issues there. There's housing values. If you're overlooking Mill Pond now, you're like the idea of some little tiny stream instead of Mill Pond probably doesn't sound so great.
Yeah.
There's the environment, a lot of environmentalists do not like these dams. They say they're unnatural and they harm the ecosystem. And then there's the people who say, well, but there's fish in here. There's people who play in the pond with their kayaks and stuff. Do you have any idea, at this point, do you have any, not an idea, but do you have an opinion one way or the other on should Saline preserve Mill Pond? Should it, what should it drain it all out, clean it up, and turn it into just a regular stream like we see all over the Saline River? What are your thoughts there, if you have any yet?
So I'm going to give you two answers to that question. Mm-hmm. One, I recognize that I did not grow up here. Right? I understand that pond, that space is a nostalgic place for people who grew up here.
It brings up another point. It's built by Henry Ford, so there's a historic value to it as well. Yeah.
And so I get that. On the other hand, I'm an environmentalist first and foremost, and I do believe that, so I do believe that the dam has negative impacts to the environment. But I also believe that throwing money at it for nostalgia doesn't feel like it's a very responsible decision, and I think that removing it removes maintenance costs and has a positive impact on the environment. So I believe that we should remove the dam. I will say, full stop, I think that dam should come out.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, that's a strong opinion, and a lot of people don't want to come out with those things so soon.
That's fair.
I mean, the truth is I know there are people who are passionate about that issue, but I also know that there are probably not a lot of people living over Mill Pond Park seeing that view every day. And who really knows what the future would look like if they removed it. And the financial issue here is supposedly they're going to provide more funding if we have to remove it than they would if we just tried to repair it and keep it going.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's an interesting issue, and I actually, as a place when I used to work down in Lenawee County, I lived in Ann Arbor, and I'd always drive up through Clinton, come up Michigan Ave, and there were two things that really struck me. One, the lights here at Christmas time, back when we had fuller trees.
Yeah.
It looked beautiful. And they hired that company from Manchester who's apparently really good at stringing lights on trees compared to...
Yeah, that was, that Saline around Christmas time, right? That is like, I live on North Ann Arbor, and so we do the tree light, we do the lanterns and everything, but that was part of the reason that I loved it here when I first moved here, is that I just felt like I was living in a little Hallmark town.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
So I definitely understand that.
And then the other thing was driving by the pond going, wow, look at that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But who knows? It's there'll be other things that you have to get off Michigan Avenue sometimes to see. And who knows what they do with that. There's potential for... I don't know if there is potential for kayaking on the Saline River, because I had a reporter who tried that. It didn't go well for him.
No.
Lots of portaging.
I hear you say you had. I hope he's...
Oh, he's still alive. That's important. Didn't suffer any critical injuries. Yeah. No, he just moved to Holland, and I think he had some family there. So
better kayaking up there.
Yeah, I guess. He was a great guy. He was like 65 years old, but he was the most athletic guy. Like I don't know if you... Saline Leadership Institute. Have you ever heard of that?
No, I haven't.
It's some group. It's where I think it's part funded by the schools and part funded by the city, and they just bring in people who maybe want to get involved, take a higher level of engagement in Saline, and people take these classes. I think Nicole Rice is the president of Saline Leadership now. And Diana Muckala had done it for years and years and years. Diana, if you somehow see this, send me your new email, please. But anyway, that was I forget where I was going with that. I got too involved. Anyway, so let's move on. Saline Leadership was great, and it had something to do with what I was going to say. So let's talk about maybe one more question. Two more questions. Okay. Are there any other things that you want to talk about that you want to impress upon people what you're going to be about if elected?
I guess this may end up segueing to the next question that I imagine you're going to ask, which is that, I think that having... I have strong opinions. I'll be the first to admit that. I'm not going to try and avoid answering a question. Mm-hmm. I believe that having someone like me who represents a lot of other people like me in the city right now, and by like me, I mean new families here who have similar concerns. A lot of these people I've talked to, they have similar concerns. I mean, I've not talked to all of them, and we're not a monolith, right?
Right.
But we have a lot of similar concerns, and so I think that having that voice in that space is going to be really important in the future, and I hope to be that person.
Okay, that kind of answers the second question. Why should people vote for you? Anyway, it was great talking to you, and good luck, and we'll talk again. I plan to do something again it's November. I don't know when the ballots come out. They come out early, and I'm not a big fan of that, to be honest with you, because it stretches this season out way longer than it needs to go.
Well, it'll be fun for us.
Yeah. Expect many more interviews from us. I'm live, Sun Times, and everything else. It was nice talking with you.
Yeah, nice talking to you too, Sharon.
Awesome. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
It's going to be a second.